It's 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're exhausted, the kind of tired that makes scrolling feel easier than thinking. And there it is, that thing you've been wanting for weeks. A new pair of running shoes, a kitchen gadget that promises to change your mornings, maybe a piece of furniture that would finally make your apartment feel complete. You click into the product page, $180. You check your bank account, $340 left until payday. Not enough to feel comfortable spending it all at once. You're about to close the tab. Then you see it. Or 4 interest-free payments of $45. No credit check, no interest, just $45. That's nothing, right? That's lunch money. That's a tank of gas. You can afford $45. So you click. You enter your info. The dopamine hits, the purchase goes through, and within 48 hours, the item shows up at your door. It feels like magic, like you beat the system. But here's the thing no one tells you. You didn't beat anything.
You just walked straight into the most profitable financial trap of the 2020s. And by the time you realize what's happening, you're already caught. Because right now, as you're watching this, there's a good chance you have 3, 4, maybe 5 of these small payments running in the background. Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, Sezzle, they all feel harmless. They all promise convenience. But here's what's really happening. Each one of those $30, $50, $75 payments is quietly stealing your ability to build wealth. Not because of interest, there isn't any, but because of something far more dangerous, the illusion that you can afford things you can't. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how buy now, pay later is destroying your financial future faster than credit card debt ever could. You're going to see the psychology these companies use to keep you spending 30 to 40% more than you normally would.
I'll walk you through the 3 specific transformations that happen when you eliminate BNPL from your life completely. And I'll show you the real cost, not in dollars today, but in the wealth you're sacrificing 10, 20, 30 years from now. Because here's the truth. If you have just $200 a month tied up in these payments, you're not just spending $2,400 a year. You're losing over $300,000 in potential wealth over 3 decades. And you didn't even feel like you were in debt. I'm James, and I've spent far too much time breaking down how these payment platforms profit from our exhaustion, and why they're designed to feel harmless when they're anything but. Let's talk about what's really going on. If you've ever wondered why your bank account feels empty despite not having debt, hit subscribe. We're exposing every invisible trap that's keeping you from building wealth and what to do about it. Here's what most people don't realize. You probably have multiple buy now, pay later accounts active right now. 3, 5, maybe 7. And if I asked you to list them all from memory, you'd struggle. Because that's how they work. Each purchase feels isolated, independent. You bought a jacket 3 weeks ago, 4 payments of $35. You bought a standing desk last month, 4 payments of $62. You grabbed some skincare products 2 weeks ago, 4 payments of $28. None of them feel like debt. They feel like payments, like subscriptions, like background noise in your financial life. But here's what's actually happening in your checking account. You look at your balance. Let's say it's $1,200. Feels decent, right? Feels like you have some breathing room. Then Friday hits. Payday. Your paycheck comes in, $2,400 after taxes. Suddenly, you're at $3,600. You feel rich for about 12 hours. Then reality kicks in. Rent, $1,400. Car payment, $380. Insurance, $150. Groceries, $300. Gas, $120. Utilities, $140. You're down to $1,110. And that's when the invisible payments start hitting. Klarna pulls $35, then $62, then $28, then another $45 you forgot about, then $52 for something you bought 6 weeks ago and honestly can't even remember what it was. By Wednesday, you're at $680. By the following Monday, you're at $340 again. And you're sitting there thinking, where did it all go? You're not overspending on anything obvious. You're not going out every night. You're not buying luxury items. You're just always short,
always stressed, always one unexpected expense away from overdrafting. You tell yourself you're bad with money, that you need more discipline, that if you just made a little more, everything would be fine. But that's not the problem. The problem is that you've handed over 20, 25, sometimes 30% of your income to a system designed to make you forget it exists. And the more you use it, the worse it gets. Because buy now, pay later doesn't feel like credit card debt. There's no scary balance growing every month. There's no minimum payment notification making you feel guilty. There's no interest piling up. It just quietly drains you, month after month, purchase after purchase, until you can't remember what financial stability even feels like. And here's the worst part. You're not alone. Millions of people are stuck in this exact cycle right now, thinking they're in control because there's no interest, thinking they're being smart because they're spreading out payments. But control is an illusion when you can't even track what you owe. So let's talk about what buy now, pay later actually is, because it's not what they're selling you. They say it's a payment option, a convenience tool, a way to make expensive things affordable. No interest, no fees, no problem. But that's not what it is. Buy now, pay later is a psychological manipulation system disguised as a financial service. And the manipulation works because of one simple truth about how your brain handles money. When you pay for something in full, right now, your brain experiences what psychologists call the pain of payment. It's a real, measurable discomfort. Studies show that when you hand over $180 cash or swipe your card for the full amount, specific areas of your brain light up, the same areas associated with physical pain. That pain is a feature, not a bug. It's your brain's way of saying, wait, do we really need this? Can we afford this? Is this worth it? It's a natural brake system, but buy now, pay later removes the brake. When you see 4 payments of $45, your brain doesn't register $180 of pain. It registers $45 of mild discomfort. And $45 doesn't trigger the same alarm bells. $45 feels manageable, insignificant, safe. So you click. And that's where the trap begins. Because here's what happens over time. You make one BNPL purchase. It feels great. No pain, just reward. So you make another, then another, then another. And because each one is processed separately in your mind, you never add them up. You never see the total. Your brain treats each $40 payment as an isolated event, but your bank account knows the truth. Your bank account is paying $40, plus $35, plus $62, plus $28, plus $50, plus $75. Your brain thinks you're spending $40. Your account knows you're spending $290. And that gap between what you think you're spending and what you're actually spending is where your wealth disappears. Research shows that people who use buy now, pay later spend 30 to 40% more than people who pay in full. Not because they're irresponsible, not because they lack self-control, but because the system is designed to make spending feel painless. And painless spending is dangerous spending. Now, here's the part that nobody talks about. The real cost of buy now, pay later isn't financial. It's not about interest rates or late fees. It's about opportunity cost. Let's say you're spending $200 a month on BNPL payments. That's $2,400 a year. Doesn't sound catastrophic, right? You're not in debt. You're just paying for things over time. But let's do the math on what you're actually losing. If you took that $200 a month and invested it instead, let's say in a simple index fund with an average 8% annual return, here's what happens. After 10 years, $36,578. After 20 years, $117,804. After 30 years, $298,071. Read that again. $298,071. That's not a down payment on a house. That's not a comfortable retirement fund. That's generational wealth.
That's the difference between working until you're 70 and retiring at 55. That's the difference between financial stress and financial peace. And you gave it up for things you can't even remember buying. Because that's the truth nobody wants to hear. Every time you click Buy Now, Pay Later, you're not just spending money, you're voting against your future. You're choosing short-term convenience over long-term freedom. You're trading decades of wealth for weeks of dopamine. And the companies know this. They're not offering you a service. They're monetizing your exhaustion. They're profiting from the fact that at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, you're too tired to think clearly, too worn down to do the math, too drained to resist the easy option. Buy now, pay later isn't evil because it charges interest. It's dangerous because it doesn't. This is the kind of financial truth no one teaches in school. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Because once you see these patterns, you can't unsee them. And that's when everything changes. Let's go deeper, because understanding how this works isn't just about awareness, it's about freedom. Here's the thing about traditional debt. Credit cards, personal loans, car payments. They're scary. You see the balance. You get monthly statements. You feel the weight of what you owe. And that fear, as uncomfortable as it is, creates a natural limit. Most people hit a point where they think, okay, I need to stop. This is getting out of control. But buy now, pay later doesn't trigger that fear. There's no growing balance to check, no scary total due, no statement that makes you feel sick to your stomach. Each purchase exists in its own little bubble, isolated, harmless, forgotten. And that's by design. Because if you saw the real number, if Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, and Sezzle sent you a combined monthly statement showing that you owe $1,800 across 11 active payment plans, you'd panic. You'd stop. You'd feel the pain. But they don't do that. Instead, they send you cheerful emails. Your payment of $42 has been processed. Check. No mention of the other 6 payments that are also processing this week. No mention of the fact that you've committed 25% of your income to things that haven't even arrived yet. Just a friendly reminder, just a little notification, just a small amount. And your brain files it away as handled and moves on. Now, let's compare this to credit card debt for a second. If you have $5,000 on a credit card, you know you're in trouble. You see the balance every time you log in. You see the minimum payment. You see the interest accruing. It's impossible to ignore. And because it's impossible to ignore, most people eventually take action. They stop using the card. They make a plan to pay it down. They feel motivated to get out. But with BNPL, there's no single balance to confront. There's no moment of reckoning. There's just endless little payments, endless little purchases, endless little distractions from the bigger picture. And before you know it, you're 6 months in and you have no idea how much you actually owe or when it'll all be paid off. Here's a real example. Let's say you're 32 years old. You make $62,000 a year. After taxes, that's about $3,800 a month. You're not struggling, you're not rich, you're just getting by. You've got rent, car payment, insurance, groceries, utilities, the basics. And at the end of every month, there's maybe $200 left over, sometimes $300 if you're careful. You tell yourself you'll start saving soon. You'll start investing soon. You'll build that emergency fund soon. But soon never comes, because every time you have a little extra, something comes up. Your laptop is slow. You need a new one. Your couch is falling apart. Time for an upgrade. Your work wardrobe is tired. You deserve something nice. And each time, you don't think, can I afford this? You think, can I afford $50 a month? And the answer is always yes, because $50 feels like nothing. So you buy the laptop, 4 payments of $280. Then the couch, 4 payments of $210. Then the wardrobe refresh, 4 payments of $95. Suddenly, you're paying $585 a month in BNPL. That's $585 that used to be extra, that used to be your breathing room, that used to be your chance to get ahead. Now it's gone. And here's the kicker. you still feel like you're not in debt because none of it has interest. None of it feels heavy. None of it keeps you up at night. But you're trapped all the same. Because now, next month, when your laptop starts acting up again, or your car needs new tires, or your tooth starts hurting, you don't have $585 to handle it. You have $0. So what do? You open another BNPL account. You finance the tires, 4 payments of $110. You finance the dental work, 4 payments of $160. And the cycle continues. This is what I mean when I say buy now, pay later isn't just a payment method. It's a treadmill. And the faster you run, the faster it moves. Now let's talk about the opportunity cost again, but in a different way. You're 32. Let's say you break free from BNPL right now. You stop making new purchases, you let your current payments run out over the next few months, and then you take that $585 a month and invest it. By the time you're 62, retirement age, that $585 a month compounded at 8% annually becomes $870,000. Let me say that again, $870,000. That's not a typo. That's not an exaggeration. That's just math. But if you stay on the BNPL treadmill, if you keep spending that $585 on payments for things you barely remember, you retire with nothing. Not because you didn't earn enough, not because you didn't work hard, but because you let convenience destroy compounding. And that's the real trap. Buy now, pay later doesn't feel like it's stealing your future. It feels like it's making your present easier. But your present shouldn't come at the cost of your entire life. If you want more breakdowns like this, real numbers, real psychology, real change, subscribe now. The only thing worse than not knowing is knowing and not acting. So what does breaking free actually look like? Let me walk you through the transformation. Not theory, not motivation, just the real, practical shift that happens when you eliminate buy now, pay later from your life. Phase 1, the awakening, month 1 to 2. This is the hardest part because it requires you to see the truth. Sit down, open every app, Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, Sezzle, PayPal Pay in 4, Apple Pay Later, Shop Pay, Zip, all of them. Write down every active payment plan, every amount, every due date. Most people are shocked at this point because what felt like a few small things turns into 8, 10, sometimes 12 active plans. What felt like maybe $100 a month turns into $300, $400, sometimes $600. This is your moment of clarity. You're not bad with money. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You've just been lied to about what affordable means. Once you see the real number, something shifts. The fog clears. The excuses stop working. And for the first time in months, maybe years, you see your finances clearly. Phase 2, the detox, month 3 through 6. Now comes the commitment. No new BNPL purchases. Not one. Not even just this once. Not even if it's on sale. Not even if everyone else is doing it. 0. Let your existing payments run their course. They'll end naturally over the next few months. Don't try to pay them off early unless it makes sense. Just stop adding new ones. And here's what starts to happen. Month 3, you still feel the urge to click Pay in 4, but you resist. It's uncomfortable. It feels like you're missing out, but you resist anyway. Month 4, one of your payment plans finishes. Suddenly, you have an extra $85 a month. It's not life-changing, but it's something. And it feels good, like you just got a raise. Month 5, 2 more finish. Now you have an extra $210 a month. You start noticing that your checking account doesn't hit 0 as fast. There's breathing room. Not much, but enough. Month 6, most of your plans are done. You have $400 to $500 back in your monthly budget. And for the first time in years, you're not wondering where your money went because it's right there, in your account, where it belongs. This is a turning point because $400 a month isn't just money, it's options, it's security, it's the beginning of control. Phase 3, the rebuild, months 7 through 12. Now you redirect. Take that $400 to $500 that used to go to BNPL, don't spend it. Don't celebrate by buying something new. Don't let lifestyle creep steal it back. Invest it. Save it. Build with it. Month 7. Start your emergency fund. Put $400 aside. It's not much, but it's a start. Month 8. Add another $400. You're at $800 now. Still not a full emergency fund, but it's more than you've had in years. Month 9. Keep going. $1,200. For the first time, you could handle a small crisis without panicking. Month 10, $1,600. You're almost at 1 month of expenses covered. Month 11, $2,000. You've officially broken through. You have a real safety net. Not perfect, but real. And month 12, $2,400. And now you start investing the rest, $100 a month into an index fund. It's not going to make you rich overnight, but it's the first time you're building wealth instead of just surviving. And here's the transformation that nobody talks about. It's not just financial, it's psychological. You stop feeling like a victim. You stop feeling helpless. You stop thinking, I'll never get ahead. Because you are getting ahead. Slowly, steadily. 1 month at a time. You walk past the store you used to shop at and you don't feel FOMO. You feel relief because you know you're building something bigger than a dopamine hit. Someone mentions a great deal with easy payments and you don't feel tempted. You feel sorry for them because you know what that road leads to. And when you look at your bank account, you don't feel stress. You feel pride, not because the number is huge, but because it's growing, because it's yours. Because you're finally moving forward. The test. Here's how you know the transformation is complete. Someone asks you about buy now, pay later. They say, have you tried Afterpay? It's so convenient. And instead of agreeing, you pause. And you say, I used to, but I realized I wasn't actually affording the things I was buying. I was just delaying the reality. That's freedom. Not judging them, not preaching. Just knowing deeply that you're on a different path now, a better one. So let's bring this full circle. Buy now, pay later promised you convenience. It promised you flexibility. It promised you the ability to afford things you couldn't afford. But here's what it actually gave you. It gave you stress disguised as ease. It gave you debt disguised as payments. It gave you the illusion of control while slowly stealing your ability to build wealth. And the cruelest part, it made you think it was your fault, that you weren't disciplined enough, that you weren't smart enough, that you just needed to budget better or make more money. But that was never the problem. The problem was the system, a system designed to exploit your exhaustion. A system built to profit from the gap between what you think you can afford and what you actually can. And once you see that system for what it is, everything changes. Because wealth isn't about how much you can buy right now. It's about how much you can keep, grow, and protect over time. Every time you choose to pay in full, or better, to wait until you can, you're not just avoiding debt. You're choosing your future. You're choosing security. You're choosing freedom. And I'm not saying you can never buy things you want. I'm not saying you have to live like a monk and deny yourself everything. I'm saying this. If you can't afford it today, you can't afford it in 4 payments either. Because affordability isn't about whether you can make the payment. It's about whether you can make the payment without sacrificing your ability to build wealth. And BNPL, it sacrifices everything. So here's the real question. Not, can I afford $45 a month, but what am I willing to give up 30 years from now for this purchase today? Because that's the trade. That's the choice. That's the trap. And the only way to escape it is to see it clearly.
Buy now, pay later isn't helping you afford life. It's helping you afford to stay poor. Look, I get it. Breaking free from buy now, pay later isn't easy, especially when it's everywhere, when every website offers it, when everyone around you is using it, when it feels like the only way to keep up. But keeping up is a trap too, because while everyone else is spending 30% more than they realize, drowning in micropayments they don't track, and wondering why they can never get ahead, you can be different. You can be the one who sees through it, the one who walks away, the one who chooses compound wealth over compound spending. And it starts with one decision. No more new BNPL purchases. Not tomorrow, today. List every active payment you have. See the real number. Let them finish, and redirect that money towards something that actually builds your future. It's not sexy, it's not instant. It's not gonna feel as good as clicking buy now. But 6 months from now, a year from now, you'll look back and realize that was the moment everything changed. Not because you got a raise, not because you won the lottery, but because you stopped letting payment plans make your financial decisions for you. You don't need convenient payments to afford life. You need clarity to build wealth. Hit subscribe and check out the video on screen. It'll show you the next step in taking control of your money. Don't just watch, build. I'm James, and remember, progress happens 1 mile at a time.